Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, Atypical Security Guard. Behind the camera, I have my man Kyler. Kyler, we were just talking about the Daniel Penny case, which is a huge case that just ended this week, where a person intervened as a third party, got involved with a homeless man who was acting erratic and just being out of control, put him in a rear naked choke, held him there for anywhere from 5 to 6 minutes, and ultimately this homeless person ended up dying. So the conversation around third-party involvement, around use of force, has kind of been at the forefront over the last couple of weeks with this case. My question to you, what are your thoughts on that? I know you say you haven't really been following, which I think is crazy that you're not even following this case, but what are your thoughts on like third-party involvement in terms of use of force?
Third-party involvement, I don't think there's anything in the nature of it really that's that bad. What comes down to it, the big issue is liability.
Yeah.
A lot of third-party involvement, they don't know the rules, they don't know the guidelines or regulations or the laws around excessive force.
Yeah.
And someone who, like in this case, was former military, who was a Marine trained to kill.
Yeah. Trained in military combatives, actually.
Trained to kill.
Yeah.
And, went over and beyond the bounds of incapacitation, resulted in killing the person. I think it was excessive, personally.
The argument that I see a lot online is people talk about self-defense, and whether that's self-defense of yourself or self-defense of a third party. And this is so applicable to the security guard realm, because when you're working in private security, you're just a normal, everyday citizen who's wearing a uniform that signals you out, right? You don't have any legal authority. You have authority over the property, but even with that, it's very, very minute in terms of what you can do and what you can enforce. So even when you get involved in terms of a hands-on or a use of force event as a private security guard, you're still working basically in the capacity of a private citizen. So it's pretty much the same. The conversation has been, well, this person got involved in a self-defense situation because Jordan Neely, this is the guy that ended up dying, he was being aggressive, he was threatening people, he was telling people that he was going to kill them. And short of this guy getting involved, like, anything could have happened. But when I look at that from the standpoint of being an instructor and then being a private security guard, like the level of threat has to rise to grave bodily injury or death. And so someone threatening you, someone telling you that they're going to harm or hurt you or kill you, that doesn't necessarily raise to that level of threat. But here we are in a situation where this court and the jury has acquitted this guy. And so my concern is that for people who are working in private security, or people who are ignorant to understanding what the level has to be in order for you to respond with deadly force, I feel like people sometimes can see cases like this and be justified or validated rather in thinking that you can respond to those types of things. You and I both live here in Portland. This is something that I see on a daily basis at work. Before we even started filming this, there was a homeless guy that was being a little belligerent and getting loud. Like, that's an everyday occurrence.
Talking about us blowing up.
Right, exactly. So, when I see that, and I think that most people who don't live in an area like Portland or an area like New York, maybe California, some of these more, I don't want to say dangerous, but just overrun with that type of environment, they don't see that on a daily basis. So hearing someone say, that person said they were going to kill me, or that person said they were going to kill these people, you kind of do feel that that's a life or death situation. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, as a Marine, he should have known the concept of escalation of force.
Yeah.
And I think that applies outside of the military. Even, law enforcement and security, they have to comply by that rule, where if someone draws a weapon, like a weapon that could result in fatalities, then that is considered, the stakes have been escalated.
Yeah, of course.
But if someone's just chanting, I'm going to kill someone, I'm going to kill somebody, that doesn't really warrant a violent response.
I say this with no hesitation and no exaggeration. Any day that I'm working downtown, someone tells me that they're going to fucking kill me. It's every day. And we're not in a position where we can take that as a valid threat. Now, it could be a valid threat, but there has to be means, opportunity, and intention. It just can't be that threat. My point in bringing this up and talking about this today is that I'm so concerned that we're in an era right now where people see these types of cases, they see the conversation online, and it becomes something that is a validation of this type of action. Before we get off here, what are your thoughts in terms of just sharing with people who might see this video, in terms of understanding that just because someone got away with it in New York at this point in time doesn't mean that the next case will go that way, and that if it were a security guard or me or you, that we would be judged the same way? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, once again, I'm going to pause so you can cut this out if you don't like it, but
You're fine, go ahead.
Kyle Rittenhouse got away with it.
Yes.
You know, whether you agree with his actions or not, he shot and killed multiple people that night. That doesn't mean that every time there's a protest, you can go take an AR to the gas station and shoot people who throw things at you.
I think there are people that feel that way, though.
There absolutely is. The rural and urban division in this country in particular has gotten so... The line has gotten thicker.
Yeah.
It's gotten so thick. And the division, and with the pursuant of social media to divide us even more and objectify and vilify the people who don't agree with us, that's created such an environment that people live in a fantasy.
Yeah.
A fantasy where they're, you know, if you live out in La Grande, Portland is full of a bunch of homeless demons. If you live in Portland, La Grande is full of a bunch of right-wing lunatics.
Right.
You know, it goes both ways. Yeah. So by solving, there is no one way to solve the division, but the best you can do is acknowledge that the person that you are disagreeing with or vilifying is another human being like you. You are not immune to propaganda.
Absolutely. We're going to leave it at that. I love that. Love it. All right, guys, let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment below. And as always, if you haven't, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next video. Take care.